Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Can we just take a moment and admire this lighting? Okay, your girl is looking good, period. Anyway, I am here with my big money mistakes that I've made. Woo child, alright. So big money mistakes I've made, and I just want to come at you guys with these. Doom, doom, doom. Just don't want you guys to make the mistakes I made. They cost me a lot. So if you see me look down, I'm just trying to look at some notes real quick, stay on topic. That's gonna do it. Okay, cool. So I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, a lot of big money mistakes, and I'm only 23. So the first being excessive vacations. Woo child. So I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany for about 8 months. And prior to that, I just liked vacationing a lot. It's my thing. I like to travel. But when I was in Germany specifically, I was going through a really rough time. And I knew I was leaving soon. And I didn't know when I was going to be able to go back overseas on my own money. So I was like, YOLO, let's try to go everywhere and in the least amount of time. So I booked a trip to Amsterdam, I booked a trip to London, I booked a trip to Paris. Yes, so the trip to London I didn't end up going on, so I spent money on a flight, didn't get on it. The trip to Paris, I booked a kind of like an Amtrak in Europe. I forget what it's called exactly, but basically a train. Did not get on it. I missed that train completely. And I think those two tickets total cost me about $350. So $350 right there that I just threw in the drain. But I ended up going to Paris, so that was another extra expense getting there again, aside from the ticket that I bought previously. So I already wasted money on the first ticket, didn't go. Second time I went, spent a lot of money. So I did all these big trips in the span of 8 months, and spent a lot of money, and I was not working in Germany. Just long side story, not to get into my personal life, but was not working in Germany while I was there. So I was putting everything on my credit card, and I was like, YOLO, I'll make money eventually. I'm only gonna be in Germany for a limited amount of time. Live it big. So yeah. So of course you got to get around when you're on vacations, right? So rented a rental car, did the whole shebang, flights, rental car, gotta see stuff, gotta buy souvenirs, gotta get hotel rooms. So that racked up a lot of money. So biggest mistake was charging my credit card with excessive vacations I did not need. Aside from that, while I was in Germany, I also went to Italy when I first got there, in addition to exploring a little bit of Germany. So that was just a lot of money. I ended up racking up about $3,000 in just travel debt on my credit card by the time I left Germany in 8 months. So yeah, it's really cheap to travel over there, but come on. All that interest on that travel really builds up too. So big mistake. And then outside of that, I would usually put my travel expenses before I even went to Germany. It was just very big mistakes. I was thinking, hey, okay, just because I don't have the money now doesn't mean I can't put it on my credit card and pay it off later. I only live once and I want to go on this vacation. I think that's a really dumb idea. I think if you want to go on vacation, it's very smart to just save up money. You would think that's common sense, but here I am trying to pay off car debt now. And most of it's from vacations and going places I had no business going to because I couldn't afford to go there. Miami, I went to a lot of trips on Miami. I went to, recently, last year, I went to St. Thomas, put a lot of that on my credit card. Just very poor planning. Don't do it, folks. Learn from my mistakes. Next, let me think. Okay, second biggest money mistake when buying clothes. So a lot of companies recently started using things like Afterpay, Klarna. Those are the two that are coming to mind right now. But basically you put all the stuff that you want in a little basket and you check out, but you only have to pay a fourth of what is actually due. For example, I recently got some clothing, despite me talking about my budget. I know, guys, I cracked. I hadn't bought clothes in so long. Forgive me. But yes, so the clothes came to $96 and some change, right? So total, that came to $23 and some change, rounded up $24. It was pretty close to that line. So $24 for payments came to 96. I know that's a little bit of a rough math, but like I said, the change is off. So yes, so I'm like, cool, I'm paying that now, $24 initially, and then every 2 weeks thereafter when I get paid, I'll pay another $24. But companies get you with this because you see that 24 value now, and you see the clothes that you get in the mail, you're like, oh yeah, it's worth it. But when you really look at what you're getting, they kind of finesse you, because you're like, oh yeah, it's worth it. But then when you look at your items, you're like, was that really worth $96? For example, $96 is what I paid in total. I'm paying on it currently, so I'm about to have my next payment on Friday. I got this hoodie. It's cute. I got these earrings. I got 2 pairs of heels, 2 chokers, and I think a ring or something. So I think like 5 of the items are jewelry. I got a hoodie, cropped hoodie, and then heels for $96 from Pretty Little Thing. And when I'm looking at it, yeah, it's all cute and I've been wanting it for a while, but is it all really worth $96? Probably not. So if it makes you think, if you had to pay that $96 up front, you would probably be taking a lot more out of your basket, because you're like, yeah, that's a lot. But $24 every 2 weeks might be worth it. So if you really think about it, I think companies are finessing you, and I've been doing this not just this time. I've been using those websites because I'm like, yeah, I'll pay for it later. I want these clothing. I want these pieces now. Fashion Nova is another one that comes to mind on Black Friday. Spent like $120 divided by 4 every few weeks, and then it was coming out of my paycheck, and I was like, I don't really think those items were worth all that though. So keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, so that was my second big money mistake. Third big money mistake, not investing in myself. Yeah, that one hurts. Yeah, so where do I start with this one? So a few years ago, I had some really cool ideas. At least I think they were cool. Never came to fruition. Why? I didn't invest in myself. I wanted to get an app created. I had a really cool concept. I even talked to some app creation companies, and they were like, yeah, that sounds really dope. The cost of it would be this, $5,000. And I was like, wow, I do not have that. Not even my credit limit. And they were like, well, I understand, if you come up with the funds, or if you crowdfund, or what is that website? GoFundMe. I sound so old. But if you do things like that, raise the money, let us know, because we think your concept's really cool. And even if you don't go with us, I think you should still work on bringing that to life, because it's a really cool concept, and I think you could really be going somewhere with it. But I never did, because I didn't have the money. But I think about it, and it's a really hot topic nowadays. I don't want to touch too much on it, but it has to do with relationships, and people are talking about it a lot and kind of applying it a lot. And I'm like, wow, had I have invested in myself and put that money into that app creation 5-some years ago, where would that app be now? Where would I be now? I would be an entrepreneur now. I might be a successful entrepreneur. I might be going somewhere. I might be the next Tinder or something. But I didn't take that initiative to invest in myself, and I really regret doing that. I had another app idea. I had a furniture piece I really thought could be something I thought was really cool, and it was actually similar to the new gamer bed that is just now coming out, and has like the cup holders and everything. I had an idea similar to that about 5 or 6 years ago, and I never just invested in myself. And that's easier said than done, because obviously it's really hard to just come up with $5,000. But if you really want something, you'll make it happen. And if I really just believed in myself with any of those ideas, I could have set aside money. I could have GoFundMe. I could have asked family members. I could have found a way to get that money, but I chose not to. I chose to waste money on things that I don't even remember now. But what do I remember? I remember not investing myself in creating those apps. That's what I do remember. And it's always better to just have done it. And then if it was a failure, it just wasn't as successful as I hoped it would be, at least I did it. At least I learned. I could still take those skills that I learned and those trials and errors, and I could have applied it to another idea and actually made that a success. Or who knows, it could have been a success. I don't know. But yes, and on that same note, not investing in myself, and also putting money into places I may not necessarily need to put money to. So when I first enrolled into college, I was majoring in journalism and then marketing. My brother, his name's Travis, older brother, he taught me a really valuable lesson, and he was saying, you know, don't, or I would advise you not to, major in something that you don't necessarily need a major in. Do you need a major in journalism? I'm sure it looks good to employers some odd years ago, but today in 2020, there's a lot less people getting degrees, and there's a lot more people going back to investing in yourself, taking classes. Skillshare is a really good one where people teach a lot of classes, but even just mentorship, there's a lot of mentors offering their services, offering to teach young people's their crafts, and so they can succeed and pass it on to the next generation, pass on knowledge, pass on wealth, things along that nature, things you might not necessarily need a degree for. Again, journalism is one that comes to mind. If you have good writing skills, if you're good at creative writing, critical thinking, you may not need a degree in journalism. You could just take side classes in journalism. You could get some online. You could go in person. But do you need a whole degree? Do you need to spend whatever people are spending on degrees nowadays? Second, I majored in marketing after I was no longer interested in journalism. Marketing. Do you need a degree in marketing? Do you know how many, if you Google, if you Google social media marketing, do you know how many classes there are online for social media marketing? Do you know how much people get paid to social media market? And it's all at your fingertips. It's all on your phone. Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. You can make money off of social media, and you never need to step foot in college to do it. Don't get me wrong, you can learn very valuable skills in college, but do you need a whole degree? Hey, there are some things you need a degree for, obviously, but those majors, do you really? So just things to think about. I'm not knocking you if you want to go to school to be a journalist or market or political science, majoring in art, whatever you want to do. I'm not knocking that, but just really think about how much you could be saving yourself in student loans. Those are killing people nowadays. So something to think about. To that note, let's see, the next thing. Sorry, I keep looking down, guys. Spending money on cheap goods. Yeah, that's a big money mistake too. Why? Because you can get cheap clothes from like China off Wish. Maybe not now because of coronavirus, but back then. Getting cheap products. What happens? Cheap products break. Yeah, that shirt is cute for $5, but what happens when you put it in the washing machine and it shrinks? Sorry guys, I just paused. My roommate came in, so if you hear him in the background, that's him. Love you, Joe. Anyway, what was I talking about? Right, spending money on cheap goods. So yeah, you put that shirt in the washing machine and next thing you know it shrunk. Dang. Or thread comes out, next thing you know it's unraveling. Cheap items are cheap for a reason. Just keep that in mind, guys. I've spent so much money on cheap clothes, it's ridiculous. I've started moving away from it. It's just not worth it. I just think about all the money. Same thing with like wigs. Oh my gosh. I used to be like an avid purchaser of synthetic wigs because there's so many YouTube videos and these women be slaying them. I'm like, yes, and I can slay a wig, don't get me wrong, but if I would have just saved up all that money on what I purchased for what I spent on a synthetic wig, and I just invested it into a nice quality human hair wig, guys, because synthetic wigs, you only get so much use out of them, you know what I mean? And then it's like, wow, for example, Friday night hair. Okay, first of all, they don't be having no part in space, that's a whole nother topic, but they look really good. But you're paying like $50, $55 for a synthetic wig, not including shipping. Human wig, they vary, but average human wig is about $200. 4 synthetic wigs, give or take, 1 quality human hair wig. Just saying, guys. Next one, a big money mistake. As I kind of detailed, especially with my first point about traveling, I used to just think, okay, yeah, it's just money, it comes and goes, but I'll make more of it, I have a job, who cares? Kind of like what I was saying with my credit card. Like, okay, yeah, it's on here now, but it's not gonna be on there forever. Well, years later, it's still here, and I'm dealing with those repercussions of poor thinking from my younger years. So that mantra of money can be replenished, YOLO, that's the ideology of small-minded people. And I used to be small-minded, especially when it comes to money, but now there's nothing wrong with being financially free. There's nothing wrong with looking to your future and realizing that, hey, I don't want this life for myself. Moving into my next point, following bad examples and generational curses. You see the money habits that your parents have, and if your parents have great money habits, then great, you should be picking those up and learning from them. But the majority of us Americans, our parents don't have good money habits. Why? Just do your research. There's a lot of Americans in debt, and a lot of debt. There's a lot of Americans that don't have a savings account, or a savings account of over $1,000. So following generational habits, generational curses, I won't go into too much of my own personally because it's not anything drastic, but just looking at what my parents did with debt and credit cards and splurging and knowing what I shouldn't be doing now, but back then following those same habits. So don't do that. Break those curses for yourself. Break those curses for the next generation. Think like the Kardashians, however you feel about them. Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're setting their kids in decades and generations from now. Those kids, their grandkids, great-grandkids, so on and so forth, they will be set. Why? Because of the actions of Beyonce and Jay-Z, of Kim and Kanye. You know, think entrepreneurially. Think, how can I take this money and make me more money? Next, big money mistake, leasing a vehicle. Guys. If you watch my first video, you see where I'm breaking down all my bills and what I'm gonna pay off and all my debt and everything. My biggest debt was my car. I bought my car. It is a 2017 Jeep, and I bought it in 2018, right? It's 2020. I still have about $12,000 on that car. Whew. Don't lease a car if you can help it. Please don't lease a car. It's so much better to just save up a good $5,000-$6,000 and get you a nice little hoopty. Ain't nothing wrong with a hoopty. It ain't even gotta be a hoopty. It could be a reliable older model Toyota, Honda, whatever's reliable. And then when you realize how much money you're saving on a vehicle, guys, then you get the vehicle you want later, when you get the job that you want, or when you invest money and you flip it, because you are, listen, I am paying $320 a month on my car, a leased car. Had I in the past saved my money, got a nice little reliable car, that would be an extra $320 I have per month. 320 times 12. Well, 12 times 3, right? That's what, 36. So about a little over 3,600, almost $4,000 extra I'll be having a year, just without having that car payment. 1 year, and I'm gonna be paying for that car for about 6 years if I weren't following my methodology of trying to knock out that quickly. If I was just a normal person with a 6-year lease, and correct me if I'm wrong, but $4,000 a year I'd be saving times 6. So I could put that money somewhere else. So just think about that, guys. Really think about that. And that's not including interest. So really think about that. Leasing a vehicle is no bueno. Last one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, not taking advantage of a company matched retirement 401k. Take advantage of that. I don't know, it varies by company, employees, but they will usually match a certain percentage of what you contribute. That is free money from your employer. Literally free money from your employer. So again, I can't go into specifics because it depends on your employer and if your job even has that benefit, but if they do, take advantage of it. You're literally getting free money from your job for retirement. And even if you, God forbid, pass before you get to use that retirement money, it goes to your children or whoever you allocate it to, a spouse, a godson or daughter, whoever you allocate it to. So not just thinking of yourself, but also thinking of your children or your loved ones in your life and how they could benefit from that money and how their lives could be changed if you weren't here. So yeah, guys, thank you for sticking around. Let me know what you thought of the video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you to my 2 new subscribers. I'm trying to get used to the camera. Let me know what you think of this video. I feel like I'm a little more comfortable in it. I just get really passionate about all of my big money mistakes. Don't make them, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for my next video.